There are moments in life when a message arrives not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine timing. When God wants to shift your direction, He doesn't send crowds, He sends a whisper, straight to the one who is ready. If this word has found you today, understand something. Heaven is aligning something in your favor. The Holy Spirit doesn't guide empty hearts, He guides prepared hearts. And when God prepares to move, He always calls His people before the moment arrives. You are standing on the edge of a change you cannot yet see, but your spirit can feel it. Something inside you has been restless, searching, pushing you to look deeper, pray stronger, believe harder. That's because God is positioning you for a breakthrough that doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It waits for obedience, awareness, and readiness. When God places a message in your path before a certain moment, it's a sign that you are chosen to rise while others sleep, to awaken while others ignore, to prepare while others doubt. This is not a warning, it is a calling. A calling toward clarity, discipline, spiritual strength, and divine instruction. And if these words reached you in this exact season, it means you're not late. You're right on time. A shift is coming, and the people who walk into it with faith will experience what ordinary effort cannot create. You must decide today to open your heart, silence the noise, and listen with the spirit, not the mind. Because what God is about to birth in your life requires your full attention, your full surrender, and your full expectation. So breathe deeply, focus your spirit, and don't ignore this moment. You are being prepared, strengthened, and awakened for something greater than you imagined. Not someday, not soon, but now. When God begins to prepare you for a shift that is bigger than anything you have seen before, the very first thing He does is not change your surroundings, but change your spirit. Transformation always begins internally before it becomes visible externally. Many people wait for signs, blessings, breakthroughs, open doors, or sudden miracles, but God is far more interested in preparing the vessel before He pours out the blessing. When your spirit begins to align with His will, you start to notice subtle changes within yourself long before anything changes around you. You may feel drawn to prayer more than usual, even without fully understanding why. You may feel a desire to disconnect from distractions, old habits, or environments that once felt comfortable. This is because God never places something new in a space that is still occupied by the old. He clears, He filters, He refines, and He adjusts your spiritual posture so that you are ready to receive what He is about to release. When God prepares your spirit, He often does it quietly. You may not feel fireworks or dramatic signs. Instead, there is a gentle shift, almost like a spiritual tuning. Your thoughts begin to shift from fear to expectation. Your heart begins to shift from worry to trust. Your vision begins to shift from confusion to clarity. You might feel an urge to clean your life spiritually, emotionally, or even physically, because something inside you knows that you are entering a new season. This inner stirring is not random. It is God aligning you with the frequency of what He is preparing for you. Before elevation comes purification, and before manifestation comes alignment. God aligns your spirit so that your mind, your emotions, and your decisions can move in the direction of the blessing instead of resisting it. Sometimes this spiritual alignment feels like restlessness. You may not know what is coming, but you can feel that something is changing. You may suddenly lose interest in people or things that once took up your time and attention. You may feel uncomfortable in places where you used to feel settled. This restlessness is not a sign of confusion. It is a sign of preparation. God is shifting you from where you are to where you need to be, and before He moves your feet, He moves your spirit. The reason why you feel unsettled is because your spirit is awakening to the new season before your mind catches up. This is why the people around you may not understand what you are feeling. They don't sense what you sense. They don't hear what you hear. They don't see what you see. God is not aligning them. He is aligning you. Another sign of spiritual alignment is conviction. You may feel a stronger pull toward righteousness, purity, or obedience. Things you once tolerated now bother your spirit. Words that once felt normal now feel heavy. Actions that once seemed small now feel significant. This is God sharpening your discernment. When He is preparing you for something big, He makes your spirit sensitive to the things that can block, delay, or contaminate the blessing. He teaches you to recognize what is from Him and what is not. He helps you separate the temporary from the eternal, the superficial from the meaningful, the emotional from the spiritual. This deepening of discernment is essential because God will never give you something that your character cannot carry. As your spirit aligns, you begin to crave peace more than noise, purpose more than pleasure, growth more than comfort, and God's presence more than people's approval. There is a shift in your desires. The old you begins to fade as the new you rises. This internal transformation is not accidental, it is orchestrated. God is shaping you into someone who can walk confidently into the next season without being overwhelmed or unprepared. You begin to sense that you are being set apart, not isolated. You are being refined, not punished. You are being elevated internally long before you are elevated externally. This is the divine preparation stage that many people overlook, but it is one of the clearest signs that God is about to release something big into your life. When God is preparing to release something big into your life, one of the clearest signs you will notice is that certain people begin to leave your life, drift away, or disconnect from you without any dramatic explanation. This is not abandonment, and it is not rejection. It is divine separation. God removes people who cannot go where He is taking you. He sees the conversations they have behind closed doors, the intentions they hide behind smiles, the envy masked as support, and the spiritual weight they would bring into your next season. You may not understand it in the moment, because sometimes the people God separates you from are the same people you deeply care about, trust, or feel attached to. But God knows that the blessing coming your way is too heavy to be shared with people who are not aligned with His purpose for you. This separation often feels painful. You may wonder why someone changed so suddenly, why someone stopped calling, why someone who used to support you now seems distant, why the relationships that once felt stable now feel fragile. But what you see as loss is often protection. God is clearing the atmosphere around you because your next season requires purity, clarity, and spiritual safety. Some people carry negativity, doubt, fear, or spiritual interference that could sabotage your blessing without you even realizing it. Some people are connected to you emotionally, but disconnected from you spiritually. Some were assigned to a chapter of your life, but not to your destiny. When God removes them, He is not taking something away from you. He is removing the weight that would have slowed you down. Sometimes the separation doesn't come from people leaving you. It comes from you losing interest in them. You may wake up one day and no longer feel aligned with certain friendships, environments, conversations, or habits. You may feel disconnected from circles where you once felt comfortable. This shift is not random. It's a spiritual indicator that your identity is growing beyond your current environment. God is elevating your mindset, your values, and your spiritual awareness. When you grow spiritually, you naturally outgrow people who remain at the same level. You don't hate them, but you no longer resonate with them. You begin to crave depth, purpose, and peace more than drama, noise, or emotional chaos. That's because the blessing God is preparing for you requires maturity, stability, and spiritual alignment. God will never allow you to enter a new season with old baggage. Sometimes He separates you to protect your heart from betrayal. Sometimes He separates you to shield your blessing from contamination. Sometimes He separates you because the very people you are trying to hold on to are the ones blocking your growth. There are conversations you cannot hear, influences you cannot absorb, and energies you cannot tolerate in this next chapter. God sees what you cannot see. He hears what you cannot hear. He knows what you cannot know. So when He begins to separate you from certain people, trust the process. You might not feel ready to let go, but God knows that if you keep those connections, they will drain you, distract you, or delay what he is trying to give you. Another sign of divine separation is misunderstanding. People may start misreading your intentions, questioning your choices, or making assumptions about your life, not because you changed, but because God changed your direction. When his hand is on you, not everyone will understand your journey. Some will distance themselves because your growth exposes their stagnation. Others will disconnect because your elevation threatens their comfort. And some will leave because God hardened their hearts toward you, just like he did with Pharaoh, so that his purpose could be fulfilled without interference. You may feel lonely in this season, but you are not alone. Separation is not abandonment, it is alignment. Before God blesses you, he cleans your environment. Before he elevates you, he isolates you. Before he releases something big, he disconnects you from anything that could sabotage it. This is not loss, this is preparation. When God is getting ready to give you something big, one of the most powerful signs you will experience is a sudden rise in spiritual sensitivity. You begin to feel things more deeply, notice things more clearly, and sense things you once ignored. It is as if your spirit becomes awake in a new way. You start picking up on energies, intentions, atmospheres, and unseen influences around you. You may walk into a room and instantly sense whether the environment is peaceful or heavy. You may listen to someone speak and immediately discern whether their words carry truth or hidden motives. You may meet a person and your spirit knows something your mind cannot explain. This heightened awareness is not anxiety, it is divine preparation. God sharpens your spirit before he releases your blessing, because what he is about to give you requires spiritual maturity, discernment, and clarity. In this season, you will feel more sensitive to things that never bothered you before. You may feel uncomfortable in places where you once felt at ease. Certain conversations will drain you. Certain habits will no longer feel harmless. Certain friendships will feel spiritually heavy. This is because God is training your spirit to recognize what aligns with his purpose and what opposes it. Your blessing is sacred, and God will not allow you to enter your next season with a dull spirit. You must be able to detect danger before it reaches you, recognize deception before it traps you, and discern hidden intentions before they influence your decisions. God sharpens your intuition because your destiny requires protection. You may find yourself awake at night more often, not because of stress, but because your spirit is alert. You may have vivid dreams, unusual thoughts, or strong inner warnings. You may suddenly lose interest in worldly distractions and feel drawn toward prayer, scripture, or quiet reflection. These shifts are indicators that God is pulling your spirit upward. He is building a deeper connection with you, strengthening your inner voice so that when he speaks, you recognize his guidance with confidence. The blessing ahead is too important for you to miss his instructions. God heightens your sensitivity so you can hear him more clearly and follow him more accurately. Your discernment will grow so sharp that you start noticing what is spiritually off in certain people, places, and situations. You might not be able to explain it logically, but your spirit knows when someone carries jealousy, hidden intentions, spiritual darkness, or emotional manipulation. This is God teaching you to trust your spiritual instincts. In your next season, your decisions cannot be based merely on emotions or appearances. They must be guided by discernment. People will show you smiles that hide envy. Opportunities will appear attractive but carry traps. Invitations will seem harmless but drain your spirit. God heightens your sensitivity so you can see beyond the surface and protect what he is about to place in your hands. This spiritual sensitivity also shows up as a strong desire to distance yourself from noise, chaos, and worldly distractions. You may crave solitude, quiet moments, or peaceful environments, not because you are avoiding the world, but because your spirit needs space to receive spiritual downloads. When God is preparing you for something big, he pulls you into a deeper level of connection with him. He reduces the noise around you so you can hear what he is saying. You begin to feel discomfort around gossip, negativity, shallow conversations, and toxic atmospheres. You no longer tolerate spiritual contamination the way you once did. Because your soul is being purified for the blessing ahead, this heightened sensitivity also makes you more aware of your own emotions, thoughts, and patterns. You start recognizing behaviors that once went unnoticed. You see areas where God is calling you to grow, heal, release, or transform. You may feel convicted, not condemned, because God is molding your character to match the blessing he is sending. Your next season requires a stronger, wiser, more spiritually grounded version of you. God uses this sensitivity to refine you internally. Many people misunderstand this phase and think something is wrong with them. They assume they are becoming overthinking, emotional, or distant. But in reality, God is awakening their spiritual senses. He is tuning their heart to his frequency. He is preparing their spirit for the weight of the blessing, the battles that come with it, and the responsibilities it will bring. Discernment is your spiritual shield, and sensitivity is your spiritual radar. When God heightens them, he is protecting you from what your physical eyes cannot see. When God is about to release something monumental into your life, one of the clearest signs you will notice is a sudden increase in opportunities that feel almost too perfect to be coincidental. Doors begin to open in ways that defy natural explanation. People show up in your life at exactly the right time, not because of planning, effort, or human strategy, but because God is orchestrating every detail. You may notice patterns, invitations, or connections that seem divinely synchronized. Your timing may have seemed off before, your efforts fruitless, and your patience tested, but now the pieces begin to align as if the universe itself is working on your behalf. These opportunities are not random. They are carefully arranged by God to position you for the blessing that is coming. They are signs that the season of preparation is complete and that elevation is imminent. You may find that doors open in areas where you had almost given up hope. Projects that were stagnant suddenly gain traction. Ideas that were dismissed start attracting attention. People who previously ignored your talents or efforts now recognize your potential. This is not luck or coincidence, it is divine timing. God has been working behind the scenes, moving hearts, adjusting circumstances, and clearing paths that you could not have moved on your own. When you notice these sudden shifts, it is a clear signal that your preparation, faith, and persistence are paying off. The universe aligns in your favor when God is about to release what you have been waiting for. At the same time, you may notice that some doors remain closed despite your best efforts. This is equally significant. Closed doors are not rejections, they are divine redirections. God is protecting you from paths that would have led to disappointment, danger, or delay. He knows what you are ready for and what you are not. Every no you encounter in this season is a sign that God is orchestrating your journey with precision. While others may see failure, confusion, or stagnation, your spirit recognizes that God's plan is unfolding perfectly. The closed doors separate distractions from destiny and prepare you to receive exactly what is meant for you without compromise. Another sign that opportunities are being aligned is an unusual favor in relationships and connections. You may meet people who unexpectedly support, mentor, or sponsor you. These individuals may provide insights, resources, or encouragement that feel divinely timed. Often, these people appear at the exact moment when their influence will have the greatest impact on your journey. God moves strategically, not impulsively, to bring the right people into your life. These connections are part of the divine setup that precedes your breakthrough. They are indicators that your prayers, faith, and preparation have not gone unnoticed. During this season, you may also notice increased clarity in your decisions. Choices that once seemed confusing suddenly become obvious. Priorities align in a way that feels natural yet guided. Your intuition becomes sharper, and your judgment aligns with God's wisdom. You start recognizing opportunities that will advance your purpose and avoiding those that will hinder it. This clarity is a gift from God, a result of the spiritual preparation He has been cultivating in you. It ensures that when the breakthrough arrives, you are ready to respond wisely, seize opportunities decisively, and navigate challenges confidently. Another manifestation of this alignment is a sense of momentum in your life. Things that previously required extreme effort now progress more smoothly. Challenges that used to stall your progress now seem manageable or are resolved unexpectedly. This momentum is not coincidental. It is the result of God positioning your life for elevation. Every lesson learned, every season of waiting, every trial endured contributes to the acceleration of your journey. You feel a natural flow, a spiritual current that propels you forward. Recognize these moments as signs that God is about to release something significant. Your faith, patience, and preparation converge at this exact time to create the conditions necessary for the breakthrough to manifest. When God is preparing to release a major blessing or breakthrough into your life, one of the clearest signs is an undeniable sense of peace and assurance, even when circumstances seem uncertain. You may notice that worries and anxieties that once consumed you no longer have the same power over your mind. Situations that once caused stress or confusion now feel manageable because your spirit is aligned with God's timing and purpose. This peace is not passive, it is active confirmation from God that He is at work behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail of your life. Your trust becomes unshakable, not because the problems have disappeared, but because you sense that God's presence is sufficient to carry you through them. This peace is a divine sign that your preparation, perseverance, and faith are about to converge with your breakthrough. Alongside this peace, you may feel a renewed sense of faith and confidence. You begin to expect good things, not as wishful thinking, but as a certainty anchored in God's promises. You find yourself speaking words of hope and encouragement over your life, even in the midst of uncertainty. The spirit within you begins to rise, strengthening your belief that what God has promised is already on its way. This growing confidence is a sign that your heart is being positioned for alignment with the blessings ahead. God does not release breakthroughs to hearts filled with doubt. He prepares your faith so that you can receive the magnitude of what He intends to give. You may also notice that prayer becomes more powerful, focused, and intentional. Your conversations with God carry a depth that transcends the ordinary. You pray with clarity, precision, and authority because your spirit has been trained to discern His will. This is not about the number of words spoken, but about the alignment of your heart with God's purposes. The prayers that once felt repetitive or ineffective now carry weight and influence in the spiritual realm. This empowerment in prayer is a divine signal that God is strengthening your intercession, preparing your spiritual authority to accompany the tangible blessings He is about to release. Your prayers become a channel for God's supernatural intervention in your life, opening doors and dismantling obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Another sign that you are being prepared for a breakthrough is an increased awareness of gratitude and contentment. Even in seasons of waiting, disappointment, or challenge, your heart finds reasons to give thanks. You begin to appreciate the lessons in your journey, the growth in your character, and the small victories along the way. Gratitude shifts your perspective from lack to abundance, from fear to expectation, and from limitation to possibility. God uses this mindset to cultivate readiness within you. The more you align your heart with thankfulness and contentment, the more receptive you become to the blessings that are coming. This internal posture of gratitude is an essential sign that God is preparing you to receive without resistance or distraction. You may also sense a heightened clarity about your purpose and direction. Decisions that once felt confusing now become obvious. Paths that were unclear or fraught with doubt now appear illuminated with understanding. This clarity is accompanied by a strong intuition that guides your choices, signaling alignment with God's will. You feel empowered to step into opportunities, embrace change, and walk confidently toward your destiny. God uses this sharpened insight to ensure that when the breakthrough arrives, you are ready to recognize it, claim it, and act on it with wisdom. Your spiritual, emotional, and mental preparation converge in this season, equipping you to navigate the blessings ahead with discernment, faith, and obedience. This combination of peace, confidence, powerful prayer, gratitude, and clarity creates a spiritual readiness that signals you are on the cusp of a major shift. It is a divine alignment of your inner life with the external manifestation of God's promises.